Welcome to the 12-2 podcast. As you can see, I am not here with Bud.
Hey.
I'm here with Meredith Juengel. And again, the 12-2 podcast, of course, is based off of Romans 12:2 because we believe that people can be transformed even in this current culture through biblical Christianity. So, Meredith, welcome to the 12-2 podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are so glad for this opportunity to just find out a little bit about you and the ministry that you have, which I guess you and my wife made contact originally with her working with your ministry, and then that's kind of led to here today.
Yeah,
which is an amazing story, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit, maybe a little bit later. But first of all, just tell us a little bit about, who you are, a little bit about yourself, and so, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm originally from Raleigh, but married someone here from Burlington, and we're growing our family here and absolutely love it. And as I say, growing our family, we now have 6 children. So we've done a lot of growing here in Burlington.
So you take God at his word when he says fruitful and multiply, which I love.
Quiverful. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, it was an interesting path to where I am now, with vocationally, and we definitely don't have time for all of that, but I'll say when we found out we were pregnant with our 4th, we found out it was our 3rd little girl, and I was overwhelmed by the people in our lives that wanted to throw us a baby shower. And I felt just this sense of guilt over, we have everything that people actually would want to buy.
Right.
All the cute stuff, all the frilly stuff, all the bows, because it's our 3rd daughter.
Right.
And so the things that we would have been asking for were just the necessities. And I remember getting in the car.
Diapers and wipes.
Yeah, diapers, wipes. And
all the disposables.
Yeah,
Because we have enough onesies. We got enough. Yeah,
exactly. And I got in the car, and there was a radio station playing, and it was an interview just like this. And a lady was saying how you can get tangibly involved in the lives of people, even within your own local community, to do local missions work. And she said, if you want to, throw a community baby shower. And I was like, wait, this is of the Lord, right? The timing is not a coincidence. It's just him, a little God wink in the moment. And so I started looking into it, and I asked if the people that wanted to throw a shower would make it a community blessing.
Wow.
And that grew. We had 2 annual ones, and by the next one, we had 30,000 items donated. And I know
30,000?
30,000. So many diapers, so many wipes. And wow. I started a nonprofit, Her Community.
Okay.
And eventually I was working with women, helping them bloom where they've been planted in life, and realized that the younger the moms were, the more open they were for believing for change.
Okay.
And I was really encouraged by that. At the same time, my husband and I were volunteer leaders with Young Life.
Okay.
Which is a ministry here in town, has been here for decades.
Right.
Going after the hearts.
See all the YL stickers on backs of cars all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were leaders at Williams High School, and I ended up taking one of the girls that I was mentoring through that to a Young Lives camp.
Okay.
And it's where they roll out the red carpet for all of these adolescent parents and their babies to come and experience this amazing property in North Carolina. Called Carolina Point. And I just could not get over how those women felt loved in a way that they never had been before. And I left that experience of just volunteering in childcare for a week, going, we need this in Alamance County. And the Lord opened doors, and that's what now has transpired.
Okay. So tell us a little bit I'm sure most people are familiar with Young Life, but just give us a quick synopsis, and then tell us what Young Lives is and what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So Young Life is a ministry that believes in going where kids are and bringing the gospel and the hope of Jesus to them. Okay. So whether that's at sporting events or whether that's in the school lunchroom, they're going to be leaders that go and just get to know kids and are seeking after kids that may not normally feel comfortable walking into a youth group or would not feel comfortable walking into a church. And so I love that ministry so much. It's meant so much to my husband and I over the years. And so Young Lives, back in the 90s, they realized, wow, it's really hard for a teen mom to come to a Young Life event on an evening, because they've got other obligations they have to deal with. Right. And so they started a sub ministry called Young Lives, And Young Lives is really just for teenage moms. And every event that we have, we provide a nutritious meal for them.
Okay.
And their babies. It may be the only meal they have that day that's warm or nutritious. And so we provide that. And we also get to fellowship with our volunteers during that time, and we feed them. And then we also provide childcare at all of our events. So we
Okay.
get a little pocket of time to just be with the mentors that are loving on these moms in their lives week in and week out, and have time with just them without the babies around.
Right.
Because any mom knows when you bring the babies,
the focus is on the baby.
Right, yeah, as it should be. Yeah.
So just thinking, so Young Lives is its main thing is towards teenage moms.
Right.
And how do you guys find them? How do they come in contact with you here in Alamance County?
Yeah, we have some great relationships with nurse practitioners in town,
Okay.
with some of the OBGYNs in town that have patients, and they can ask 2 questions. Number 1, were you feeling overwhelmed when you found out you were pregnant? Or do you think after you have your baby, or now that you've had your baby, do you feel like you're going to have trouble with your friends still being your friends? And if either of those things are true, then the last thing we want is for a mom to go home with a newborn baby and feel isolated. And so just knowing that there's a group of girls that are going through the same situation, that are sharing the same struggles, that are sharing the same exciting things that maybe they weren't exciting before, like, oh my goodness, my baby just rolled for the first time.
Right.
Your friends might not be excited about that, but we have a community of women that will be excited and celebrate those victories with them.
Okay. So it's normally through, you said nurse practitioners and OBGYN.
Yes.
Will refer them to you. And what about in the schools or people in Young Life or whatever the case is? Do you get referrals through that?
We do. So we have great relationships with some of the social workers in Alamance Burlington school system. Okay. And we'll even go into the school system and offer lunch and learns. And the lunch and learns are educational sessions. We will be there for the 2 hours of lunches during the day. They have 3 distinct lunches, and any of the students that are parenting or pregnant can come and learn items like budgeting, or how to set healthy relationship boundaries, how to manage conflict resolution skills, or car seat safety.
Wow.
Developmental milestones of children. I mean, we have a whole year of curriculum rolled out for that, so I could tell you a lot more others, but yeah.
How often are you in the school system with that?
Yeah, we have a specific time each week.
Okay.
So there's 1 day per week.
Per week.
Uh-huh.
And are you in all the schools or just certain ones?
We are currently in Cummings High School.
Okay.
And we are looking to see where else the need is.
Mm-hmm. As far as Alamance County goes, what is the need when it comes to young teenage mothers? Is it have you noticed an uptick? Is it not that big? Is it a big need? How would you?
I would say there is a big need. It's kind of shocking, the statistics that are around about it. As you can imagine, there was a bit of another baby boom during COVID when all of the high schoolers were home and parents had to be working. And so we have a lot of little baby blessings that have come along since 2020.
Right.
And right now I was looking at our new year, and we've had 39 moms in the last 4 years go through and graduate our program. And they age out more than graduate.
Okay.
But they age out at 21.
Okay.
The summer after their 21st birthday. And so we have, 39 girls that have been actively involved in our program that have graduated out.
And have basically gone from pregnancy or newborn all the way through until they were 21.
Yes.
Now my question, after that, what are you seeing for the girls that have gone through that? Do you notice, are they able to, let's say, break the cycle or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gosh, this is where my heart starts just coming alive, honestly. I am so encouraged by these young moms, the things that they go through on a daily in the homes that they grow up in. None of their stories are all identical, but a lot of them have the same pieces woven through the fabric of their life. And so whether it is people that are supposed to be trustworthy and guiding them in life, having to deal with addiction or, material poverty or even food insecurities, generally there's 1 or 2 of those going on in every one of the homes that our moms come from. And so I'm watching these girls and getting a front row view of them changing their lives and changing the lives of their children. So we've had girls that got involved in the program that were homeless, dropping out of high school, had nowhere to live. Obviously, I said homeless, but nowhere, not even a couch in a friend's house to go to.
Wow.
And because that's what homelessness looks like in Alamance County for the most part, is there's, they're couch hopping.
Right.
And so they have a baby in tow and they're dealing with all that. They have no transportation. They have no job that they can keep because they don't have transportation that's reliable.
And then they wouldn't have childcare on top of that either.
They wouldn't have childcare. Yeah. And through connections that we have, like Regina Norris at Cummings High School has been an amazing resource for us, getting them involved with the child care voucher program so that we can get their kids in child care because they can't leave their kids to come to school at home because there isn't a trustworthy adult to leave a baby with. And so, we've seen girls that have, that's like day one. Tell me about your life. And that's what you find out. And you're like, oh, all right, here we go.
So it's a far cry from what most of us knew personally, grew up in personally, and surround ourselves with. I mean, if you're just the average middle class person in Alamance County, you're usually from, a two-parent home or a home where people are working and, that they're in some sort of relationship or whatever the case may be. And you probably have 3 meals a day that, whether it's from McDonald's or whatever the case is. And you're going to bed and you're in your bed, you'll probably have a huge color television somewhere in the house. And, and that's your daily life. You'll usually have friends, you'll have church that you probably go to. And so this idea of somebody, you saying, tell me about your life. And they're going, I have nowhere to live. I have a baby in tow. I have no job. I have no prospects. I have no hope, basically.
Right.
And that's where you guys typically would get them.
Yeah. And the things that the moms have heard throughout their life are, you were a mistake. I never should have had you.
Wow.
And now you're having a mistake. And that baby's going to be the best thing that ever happens if it does anything with its life. Like things like that, that are just hard to hear once, let alone hear repeatedly.
Right.
And so being able to bring these moms into our program and teach them about, well, no, there's a heavenly Father. It doesn't matter if your father's not in the picture in the way that you think, because all of the fathers that any of us have will pale in comparison to what our heavenly Father is like and his love for us. And being able to speak hope about, them and their lives. One of the girls that was the first one that I really formed a deep relationship with, I remember she was just the life of any room. And when girls came in and it was their first time coming to group, she would go, hey, I probably shouldn't say names, but hey, it's good to meet you. Glad you're here tonight. How old's your baby? And it was just like so welcoming in that way, in that culture. And I remember telling her one night, like, you are so hospitable. I mean, people walk in and you make them feel like you genuinely are excited they walk through the door. And I think it may have been one of the first times someone had said that to her, because she was just like, me? Looking behind her like, you talking to me? And then I just saw her bloom into that. And, she had a really troubled situation that we started in, but then she ended up graduating from high school. She ended up getting a car, finding housing. She's a wonderful mother to her little boys, and it's just an encouragement to me. She's now getting her dental hygienist degree at ACC. I mean, it's just remarkable, and I have tons of stories I could share.
And so she's changing basically the story that was written about her.
Right.
Her boys aren't going to face that same story. It sounds like that this is, it's what God does.
Yeah, it's a victory.
He redeems the sin that this world is just steeped in from the fall. He's able to take that. And I love what Rosaria Butterfield says. So he's the only person, or he uses sin sinlessly.
Yeah.
And he's the only one who can do that, is God.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah. So, with that said, so how many let me ask this, how many ladies or girls or young mothers do you see come to to a saving knowledge of Christ through the program? I mean, the majority of them. I mean, I'm assuming they're presented with the gospel.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We share the gospel throughout the year. We never take the Jesus gospel piece of it into any of the school system events that we do, because those are more educational.
Yeah, I understand.
My hope is that by being there, they see me or the other mentor that comes with me.
There's something different about this.
Right,
person.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you should come out on a Thursday and learn more. But we teach the gospel, the entire gospel of the story of we've all fallen short. We are all sinful. Even these mentors that you think have everything together in life, we all have fallen short.
Right.
And then, it took Jesus dying on the cross for us to be reconciled with God and have direct access to him. And now he lives.
And they see that lived out in front of them, I'm assuming, from the mentors that are part of it.
Yes. Our mentor team is very transparent about our own things that we've hidden in the closet from years too, and it's sweet.
So you guys have a meeting regularly on Thursday night. Is that when you bring them all together and for the meal that you were talking about and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. On Thursday nights, we currently meet at First Baptist Graham.
Okay.
And it's on Thursday evenings from 6 to 8. And it's about 3 Thursdays every month during the school year.
Okay. And about how many people are involved with the program right now? How many girls do you have in the program?
Right now we have, we know the names and have relationships that are growing with 37 girls right now.
Okay.
And it's exciting.
And how many of you had graduate out of this program? Was that the 39?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you had 39, and you currently have 37, and this has only been going on for...
This is our 5th fall.
Fifth fall.
Yes.
Okay. And you follow them. I mean, it doesn't matter what age. You'll follow them all the way through, I assume.
Right. Yeah. Our youngest mom that ever got involved was 11 when she got pregnant. And so her daughter will be in 2nd grade before she ages out. So she's still eligible to come to group. And that's a sweet story that we get to watch her daughter in the first formative years of elementary school. And we really try and educate on those first 60 months of life and how important they are. You think it's a little lump laying around for the first 6 months, but they are growing and there's so much brain development that is happening. So encouraging them with appropriate age educational play.
Right.
And like, what can a child do? One of the first skills that a child develops, even sometimes before they can speak in sentences, is the ability to sort. And so you can sort straws that you get from a fast food restaurant, from the forks, maybe not the knives, maybe more spoons, but you can sort things. You don't have to have a lot of money to be able to play educationally and start building that amazing brain that your child has.
Wow. So let me ask this: how does the finances work? I mean, because I'm sure you don't do this for. I mean, not you, but you can't do this for free. I mean, there's got to be resources that come in to support the mothers, to support the curriculum, that you guys do. How do you guys do that, or how is that done?
Yeah. So Young Life is a national organization. It's actually international as well. But each individual area is responsible for their entire budget. Okay. And it's supposed to, you're responsible for raising it locally. And so we do raise all of our finances here in Alamance County.
Okay.
And have the ability to donate online or in person, check.
So you just get out there and spread the message of this is what we're doing. And then just individuals just donate to you guys?
Yes. And not everybody has the capacity to have time in their life to volunteer like in person or even, the ability to donate in-kind items. We have a blessings closet that we allow every time we have one of our events called Bible study. It's called Campaigners. That's the name that we've given it. We open up what we call our blessings closet. And the blessings closet has all of the needs, the essential items that the moms may need at home. The idea behind that is if we can provide for the moms tangible items that they know they need and their babies need. We're talking diapers and wipes and appropriate clothes for the seasons changing, and toys and educational items and books. If we can provide those and they start trusting us with the tangible things, then when we talk about something that is faith-based, that there isn't necessarily a tangible thing that you can show,
right?
We have that level of trust and the ability to speak into their lives in that way.
Okay, so initially what you're trying to do is meet the physical needs so you can speak into the spiritual
You
needs.
said that perfectly. Yes.
Now I know that we have there's a young lady who went through your program that it's tied, I guess, to my wife,
Right.
because, and this is how our sovereign Lord works. We both are familiar with Dr. Lamb, right?
Yes.
Did you say you went on a mission trip with him?
Yes. My husband and I went to El Salvador.
To El Salvador. Do you remember what year?
Oh gosh. 2008.
Okay. What's interesting there is that, I don't know, probably a couple years after, I also went on the mission trip with Dr. Lamb to El Salvador. And that is where I tasted coffee in El Salvador and went, oh, so this is what coffee is supposed to taste like. And that brought me back to the States, which sent me on this journey of trying to chase that taste. And you went through and, go through the things and you discover that Starbucks doesn't have it. Dunkin' Donuts doesn't have it, but there's something special about coffee in El Salvador.
Grown on the mountainside, with perfect sun. Yes.
Right. And so that led me to bump into a guy that I used to work out with. I found out he was roasting coffee. I said, let me try some. And that was when I go, oh, so, it was very similar to the coffee in El Salvador. And so that led us to start a business of roasting coffee, which led us to opening a coffee shop, which then my wife was running, which then introduced, I guess, you through somebody who
customers, I think.
Yeah, to my wife, which then I think introduced this young lady, gave her a job there.
Yes.
That shouldn't say her name, but gave her a job there. And from that, I guess you did a tea. And now this young lady has graduated from the program. And tell me what she's getting ready to do.
Oh, yeah. This is so exciting. So she's actually, her family is El Salvadorian,
yeah, right.
Which is just a full circle. Like the Lord is just so good.
Of a
you couldn't
God
make
going.
It up, even if
Right.
we tried. And so she has a sweet little 3-year-old girl. And she got involved in the program through social worker at school and started coming to lunch and learns. I think my excitement for life was a little much for her at first. And she was like, I don't know, but she seems like she knows what she's talking about. So I'm just going to keep coming back. And she got really involved. And when we take our girls to camp, like I mentioned, it's in the mountains of North Carolina. It's absolutely beautiful. A lot of our moms have never traveled further than Greensboro.
Wow.
So we're like, hey, we're going to get in a bus and we're going to take you to the mountains with your child. They're like, this seems like the start of a very bad movie where it doesn't end well for me.
Right.
But she trusted us and came out to camp. And from there, she got to hear the gospel story proclaimed from stage throughout the weekend without any of the inhibitions, without any of the responsibilities from home. And her home life was really tough. I know you know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And I won't get into details there, but she was determined to be the first one in her family to graduate from high school. And we helped her believe in herself that she could do that. And she did. And then she started realizing like, oh, this Jesus, he really does want a relationship with me. It doesn't take a person to really imagine for very long. If every relationship in your life is leaving you, if every relationship in your life is saying you're not worthy, then it's hard for us as humans to believe that even in your mistakes, in the pit of your sin, you are worthy of the Lord's love.
Right.
And he is just waiting for you to turn around and face him. He's like a magnet. He's always facing towards you. And we decide which direction the magnet is. And so when she really grasped that and that she did not have to earn forgiveness every single day of her life, it was a new start in her life. And she accepted the Lord at camp. At the end, of camp, we have this thing called say so, and it comes from Romans, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, where if any girl has given their life or rededicated their life to Christ, there's probably 300 or so in the room, and they pass a mic around and moms can say, hey, my name is, and this week I decided to give my life to Christ. I don't know what that looks like back home, but I'm taking him there with me, and we're going to find it out with my mentor.
Right.
Because our mentors, we come home with the girls.
Right.
And we can keep reminding them of that decision that they've made and the steps to start walking towards that deep relationship with him.
Wow. So she gave her life to Christ.
She gave her life to Christ. And now she is actually employed by Young Lives, and she is starting to do local missionary work here in and around the school, the high school that she was at and graduated from in East Burlington. And just going into, she's beautifully fluent in Spanish and English. And so she is able to communicate in multi-generations in these homes in East Burlington and just communicate hope and life of
Where
Jesus.
a lot of us would not even be able to darken the door.
Yeah, yeah.
And then there would be a language barrier on top of that.
Yeah, exactly. I remember during COVID time when everyone was on lockdown, we continued to offer ministry. I mean,
Right.
at a time when our girls needed food and fun and all of that more than
Right.
ever before, but also needed someone to put eyes on them and make sure they truly were. You can say you're okay on the phone.
Right.
When I look you in the eyes, I'm going to get a much better
Yeah.
idea of how you really are doing on a soul level. And so from 6 feet away. Okay. All right. We were not breaking any protocols. Let me put that out there.
Of course, that distance was made up. We
Yeah.
later find out,
Yeah.
and they admitted it.
Oh, yeah, true.
But
So I remember dropping off one time, and one of our girls' father, she was a senior at the time. This is not the same one that's
Right.
employed now, but a senior at the time. And he, with tears in his eyes, shared his life story, and that they had lost a son. They had lost a son in utero.
in utero, yeah.
I know all these things. Just for a
Right.
second, it sounded like the wrong word. And then they had lost a son in a tragic accident. And so they had so much pain. And then on top of that, shut down,
Right.
lockout, everything. And so he said, I've never had anyone care for my daughter. I've never had anyone come by and drop anything off. And just with tears streaming down his eyes, he's like, I don't know what your organization is about, but we will be all about it. And, it's like, that is what the Lord calls us to do, is to be culture or counter culture,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
do what maybe is completely opposite. When people are saying isolate, find a way to love, find a way to dig deep and dive in. And I love that our ministry is an opportunity for that.
Yeah, that's what this podcast is about, because, based off of 12:2, it says, don't be conformed to this world, but be
Right.
ye transformed. And, we don't have to conform to the world's structure. I mean, to be honest, the world would look at most of these girls, and the message that they would be getting would be, hey, this is a mistake.
Mhm.
You need to take care of this mistake so that you can live your life and
Right.
reach your, quote, fullest potential.
Right.
So therefore the encouragement would be to abort the baby. And yet there's you guys going, hey, you don't have to take that path,
Right.
because every child is created in the image of God, the
Right.
Imago Dei. And you guys are just, I see you guys and it does my heart glad, but you guys are the ones out there shouting, hey, we are created in the image of God. Your baby is worth something, and you are worth something as a teenage mother. And you have so much more to offer the world through our Father, God.
Yeah.
And just, and that just, I just commend you guys. It's just an awesome ministry. And that's one of the
Thanks.
reasons why I wanted to get you in here, so that our people who listen to our podcast and the people of integrity could hear this and hear your passion for these young women.
Yeah, they are some of the bravest women in Alamance County.
I would imagine.
And I'm so proud of them, and they're all working so hard. And they didn't get to decide what cards they were dealt in life, right? But we don't have to be limited by the cards that were dealt in life, and usually that's not exemplified in their lives. So it takes someone from outside speaking that truth into their life. And when I read John 10:10, that Jesus says he came to give life to the full, I don't read an asterisk there that says except for young moms in child rearing ages, right? Or like even moms in general, like moms can have a full life with their kids alongside them. And I'm really passionate about making that possible and making our girls believe it for themselves.
So if somebody wanted to get involved and help, how do they go about doing that?
So there's 3 different ways. We have a committee, which is a working board, I guess would be the best thing to compare it to. And they provide resources or connections or are big players in fundraising events that we do. And they also come in events. They come to events and they volunteer if they're available. There's no obligation to that, but they do that. The second way that people can get involved is they can be volunteers on our Thursday night events. We have a schedule of which Thursdays we meet, and there's 2 unique ways to get involved. One is in childcare. We do background check all of our childcare workers, so just anticipate that. It's nothing personal, right? So childcare, if you want to come hold babies or you want to play with toddlers and pray over them while they're in those rooms, please, please, please. The other way is hospitality, so serving the food or providing a meal. We have a hospitality coordinator that would love to connect. The other way is we have mentors. And so our mentors go through a training and they're background checked and all of the good things there too. And mentors are signing up for a 2-year commitment because we don't want to be just another adult that comes into a girl's life and then leaves. We want to be there through a period of their lives and make a difference. And so it's a 2-year commitment to be at all the Thursday events, and also reach out to our girls and see, hey, I'm going to go to the park. Do you and your kiddo want to come to the park with me? Or, just little events to be a highlight in their day.
What if somebody wanted to give?
Yeah. I love that you asked that. We have an online giving link that you can.
We'll put it in the show notes and stuff. Okay. So we'll have a link to that so people can do that. But so you have an online link.
Yes, with Alamance County Young Life. Yeah, we do. And
they can just donate money or items.
Yeah, they can donate money. They can donate items. We do ask for any of the in-kind items to be either new or brand new. We currently have a need for size 6 and size 7 diapers and newborn diapers. We also have a need for newborn baby clothes. Okay. So every time a baby is born, we just had one born last week.
Wow.
And we like to go and take brand new items to the hospital so that they have something sweet and new to bring their baby home in.
Wow.
So those are definitely the best 2 things right now
that you guys need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then just real quick, I'm a big reader. Anybody who's listened to podcasts know that I read books, but
me too.
Yeah. What if you had a book recommendation right now? What would you recommend to?
Okay. I have to do 2.
Okay,
all
that's
right.
Fine. That's
My
fine.
first one would be Praying Women by Sheila Walsh. It's amazing. It has transformed the way that I pray. Okay. The idea behind Jesus used scripture when he was praying. So it is not, it's not
formulaic.
It's not formulaic, right? And it's also not, what is it when you submit something that you didn't write? Plagiarizing.
Plagiarizing.
It's not plagiarizing. Okay. It's like beautiful to say it to Jesus.
Right.
And anyway, that book is absolutely remarkable. And then the other one, which I'm a little bit hesitant to admit, I read The Bait of Satan by John Bevere.
Okay.
And The Bait of Satan is talking about how the devil will use offense in your own heart to really cast a wedge between you and other people in relationship. And I picked it up a couple years ago and I couldn't even make it through the first 2 chapters. And then I feel like I've grown in my spiritual journey. And so I read it from cover to cover and loved it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate those 2 recommendations. And then last, before we say goodbye or get out of here, I want to appreciate you for coming in. I really do appreciate it, for you taking your time. I know that what'd you say, 6 kids?
Yes.
What are their ages? Just out of curiosity.
15, 13, 11, 9. We just had a bunch of birthdays, so I'm having to think about it. So 9, 5, and 2.
Okay, so you're hitting the gamut from teenage to terrible twos.
We are high school all the way down to preschool.
Right. Wow.
And we homeschool, so. Yeah. So
So you're just 2 thumbs up with that. That's great. Anyway, again, we thank you for listening, for giving us an opportunity, for watching us. And I'm just going to ask you, hey, like us, subscribe, share with your friends. Again, like Bud says, we'll grow on you. Anyway, God bless.